Okay, before we begin, the Playwright would like to acknowledge that today, June 20th, is World Refugee Day. La Tiza by Dr. Catalina Florescu. Playing Alegrías is Lucas Calzada. Social workers, Sabrina Sexauer and Sierraa Trinchet. The ICE officers, Carl Young, Kerra Apollo, Reese Miller, and Alegrías' mother and father, Kristin Fernandez Mumm and Matt Fernandez. Dedicated to those who died in my country in 1989, so I could live free in exile. Dedicated to D.A.C.A students everywhere, and to my son, although he was born here, his roots are in many places. Place and time, a classroom at a university in the USA, sometime a little bit in the future, plus flashbacks. Act 1. An actor enters. He is well-dressed. The setting resembles a college classroom. The entire audience members are seated on chairs similar to those in college classrooms. There is a board, ideally circular, enveloping the classroom qua stage. Above the board, equally enveloping, there is a reflective surface, a mirror. So all participants are seen. There are many pieces of chalk, all are white. The man goes to the board and starts drawing a map, clouds, birds, people, barbed wire, and writes, La Frontera. Projected, we see footage from the news with people walking to get to the US-Mexico border. Then, silence. He returns to the board and erases several letters. Now La Frontera has become Tierra.
Good afternoon. I've told this story many times to my students, my kids, strangers whom I meet on the street. I will tell it until I die. My name is Alegrías. Well, it's not my birth name. It's a nickname. You see, my parents were deported when I was a boy. During their short life in the States, they were farm cropping, toilet cleaning, dishwashing, poorly paid, and poorly treated people. I remember, I think this happened to me. Sometimes it's hard to confirm my own past, especially since I was raised without parents. Look, this tiza saved mi vida. My parents used to call me Alegrías, and when I asked them why, they said,
"Well, son, that's easy. You make us happy."
I asked them, "Why is this the only Spanish word you say to me?" My mother did not say a word, and I heard father whispering something in Spanish to her, but back then I did not speak my parents' mother tongue. I remember asking them, "Why don't you teach me your birth language?" My question always remained unanswered. Almost every time I asked it, I heard Dad saying to Mom,
Cállate.
they were afraid to speak their native language, afraid to hear.
Go back to your country, beaners.
Listen, son, learn English. No one will ever question your place of birth.
But Father, in school they teach us to pay respect to our ancestors.
Yeah, sure, they say that devouring our food, but reality has more than one face.
What do you mean?
Just learn, get good grades, and never look back. The past has, the past is the heaviest burden of all.
Father, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Go to bed now.
Alegrías goes back to the board and points emphatically to the word frontera.
My parents could never look straight into my eyes and admit their mistake or guilt or just be brutally honest and tell me why they did not teach me Spanish. So I had to change my strategy. I asked them once about my extended family. My father was a gentleman. passing for a tough one. His hands were cracked because of the manual labor in dusty fields. His soles were growing another layer of skin from all those miles that he walked from work to home. I remember him saying, I did not have anyone else but them. He always looked into my eyes and said that if anyone asked about my family, I should say, without pausing,
We're all fine, thank you. Who wants ice cream?
You know why, right? Because this is a culture where things are hidden. It appears welcoming and emancipated, but that is just one superficial level. Besides, asking kids about ice cream would have been a detour from their staring at me. Growing up, I learned I had to be someone else. My mother once pulled me aside and said,
Son, this is for you. Take this mask.
What? Why?
Back in my village, women were doing chores together, laughing and crying as one. When I came to America, I could not sleep for months. It was so silent, it felt like a graveyard. Every night I put myself to sleep, reminiscing all the women's laughs I'd heard back home. They were like lullabies. One day, a coworker was looking for a pack of cigarettes, and a mask slipped off of her bag. I asked her what that was for, and she said it was for her daughter, who was a fox in a school's end-of-year show. The woman said I should try it. I asked why, and she said it's good when you can't find your words, or when you want to be someone else. She said her daughter taught her that trick. For a moment, I stood with that mask in front of my face, and nothing came out of my mouth. I told her jokingly the mask must be broken. And she said, no, querida, you are. Maybe it was the word querida that women back home used to call one another. Maybe it was something else, but all of a sudden I could not stop these words coming out of me.
Mira, soy una mujer cansada. Esta tierra no está llena de sueños. No son mis sueños de todos modos, pero hay demasiada pobreza y inseguridad en mi propio país. No hay punto de retorno. Nunca escucharé esas mujeres llorar y reír. Nunca. Mom, that was so beautiful. What does it mean?
It's too complicated.
Please tell me.
Tierra, that means land. I'll teach you tomorrow.
Tierra, tierra, tierra. I was intoxicated by the sound of that word. I was spinning, holding tierra in my heart. You see, I grew up being loved by my parents, but they were very tired and consumed by sadness. They were homesick. They were afraid for me. They warned me that I should never reveal my nickname, and once I almost betrayed them. I was at school, playing during recess, and said, Las Alegrías! Las Alegrías! A kid asked me, what did you just say? I panicked. I replied in a hurry, my voice splitting in distress, as if followed by shadowy monsters. Nothing, nothing. I must have heard this in a dream. He was piercing me with his eyes. He almost called another kid, but I immediately said, do you want ice cream?
He returns to the board and writes, sueño.
We are all caught in one sueño, a dream that is yet so different from person to person. Mine ended abruptly.
He goes off stage. He comes back wearing PJs. He holds a blanket in his hands.
One night there was a knock on the door. It became louder and louder. I saw men wearing uniforms on which I could read the letters I, C, and E, like an ice, but no cream. They were holding their hands on rifles, yelling,
Open up!
Are you Fernando Borador?
Yes, sir, I am.
They pushed my father out of bed. They did not bother to ask my mother's name. They pushed her out of bed, too. They did not see me.
A wetback always marries a wetback.
He laughed maniacally and then spat on the ladi, the very old rug my mother brought from Mexico, her dowry when she got married and crossed the border. I poked my head out of the blanket and screamed, Mom! Dad! An officer approached me. My mom was trembling, almost fainting.
Do not take the child, please, I beg you.
They pushed her and ordered her to
Shut the fuck up!
Do you know how many times mi madre was told to shut up? Imagine the stories she could have been able to share, now all gone. A deleted history, mine and hers and ours. Like these ephemeral drawings. You see them now, but after my class there is another and another. If I forget to erase them, the school janitor does not. That night, the men started to whisper something. I was not scared because nothing made sense, and when nothing makes sense, call it a survival skill, I do not worry. I think I said to myself that I must be dreaming a mal sueño. It will go away. This sueño is horrible, though, and would not go away. I heard my mother.
Please leave the child here, I beg of you. He is a D.A.C.A, protected under the law.
The men laughed so hard the walls of our place were shaking.
Protected. Oh, woman, you... Yo, Mike, you used to date that hot Mexican chick. How do you say very crazy to a bitch?
Kerra, that's a bitch. Muy loco, pera.
Listen, Loca, this is a new administration, so law schmaw. Yo, Mike, was your crazy bitch from Mexico as dumb as this one?
But my son is a traitor.
Ma'am, be quiet. We are the law, not you.
What's the holdup? I told you to be done as fast as I could pee. I'm done. You?
Yup, done. Out,
Yeah.
now!
We have to catch 100 by dawn. That's our order.
Catch them? Were they talking about invisible fish in an invisible pond?
Son, your mother and I will be crossing. Do not be afraid. We will be crossing a piece of earth.
My mother nodded, holding back tears. She knew that she had to make herself shut up for my sake. The tears were all going inside her body in chunks. I could see them, traveling with difficulty inside her body. I did not cry. The last thing my parents, now in chains, said to me.
Mi querido, mamá te ama.
Papa también.
My parents were pushed out of our place, and I heard them saying while the van was revving up its engines.
Alegrías! Alegrías! Take care of you, mijo!
The words were disappearing, taking my parents and childhood away with them. I stayed in bed for days. I had water and something to eat. One day there was a knock on the door. I rushed to answer, thinking my parents were brought back to me. Mom, Dad, you are home! I opened the door. 2 women were standing there holding a file.
Hi, are you William Frank Moses Boredor?
Yes?
This kid, his parents really tried hard with all the names.
Tried what hard?
Sometimes I wonder if you're dumb on purpose.
Hearing that word, I can't explain why, made me smile.
Look, William sounds American, Frank German, and Moses, well, this one has a touch from the Holy Bible. But then boom, Boredor. The identity is revealed in an instant. Betrayed by the family name, you can't run away from who you were born to be.
I edited that in my head and was left with betrayed by my family name. My family name. Betrayed. Hello?
Yes, we see you. Not good at all.
Didn't you study the case at home? Who's dumb now?
Your parents are gone, right?
Yes, when are they coming back?
They are not.
Not right now, little one. Take this lollipop.
Thanks. Where are my parents?
Who knows?
We do not know. We are looking for them.
Yeah, we are. That's our government's top priority.
What?
You are safe.
But I am scared and hungry.
You are not alone, you know?
Yes, I am.
Here in this house you are, but we came to take you.
To my parents?
Kid, your parents are gone.
Until we find them, we are going to take you to a place where there are many kids and toys.
I do not want toys. I want my parents.
Hurry up, pack a few things and let's go. We need to make 9 more stops.
Yes, that is true. We need to save other kids.
Are you angels?
Something like that.
Our government made a huge mess, but we clean up after it.
Kid, let me help you pack. Anything special you want to take with you?
This.
He points to the rug.
My parents are not bad people. Where are they?
We really don't know, kid. I'm sorry.
As he packs his things, we see a video with a family, a mother, a father, a child, in the kitchen making alegrías. They sing in Spanish and are happy. When the video stops, the man is covered in the blanket.
I used to cook alegrías with my parents. I used to stick my fingers in the dough. It had toasted amaranth seeds and honey, and for a second, we stayed together like that. I will never forget that moment. We touched our hands amid the stickiness. It was beautiful. Now I am wrapping my body and mind inside and outside with that memory. Nobody can take that away from me. It's forever mine, like my eyes that are my mother's and my hair that is my father's.
He goes off stage and comes back wearing a serape.
My name is William Frank Moses Borador. You can call me Alegrías, too, but only after you have said my full name. I am 35 years old. After my parents were taken away, I grew up in a foster care system. I lived with many families. I was docile, following orders, but somehow I was relocated constantly. I learned Spanish in secret. I had this plan to learn, get a job, find my parents, travel to Mexico, and bring them back here. Time passed and I became a naturalized American. Everything was planned to perfection. I knew when I would meet them, I would say, "Mamá, papá, qué alegría. Nadie nos separará de nuevo." That was the plan, to find them and talk to them in their mother tongue, to end the night that separated us, reunited by words in Spanish. Beautiful dream, right? But 2 weeks before I was supposed to board the plane, I got a call.
Hola, soy el alcalde de Teotitlán del Valle. ¿Puedo hablar con el señor Borador?
Hablando.
Lo siento, pero tus padres murieron.
¿Qué?
Lo siento mucho, pero están muertos.
My parents died in a car accident. A truck drove them over. Have you ever had to travel to bury your parents? Instead of embraces and kisses, your hands are empty, your soul devastated. How many times does a person have to lose their parents? How many times will I wake up in the middle of the night shivering with fear, reliving the nightmare when I saw my parents for the last time? And who is responsible for this?
He goes to the board and writes again, La Frontera.
This piece saved me. When my parents were snatched in the middle of the night, all I remember was how they used to call me in the house Alegrías. I found a piece of chalk under the bed. I started to draw to survive. I had to do something to make sure I will not lose my mind. I needed to feel I was not abandoned. This piece made me travel. I was not alone because of it.
He goes to the board and writes, Borador.
Hola, my name is Borador. It means eraser in Spanish. You can't erase me. You can't erase my past. My history class is about to start. Would you like to stay?
He hands a piece of chalk to someone from the audience.
Write the word you are most scared of, and then give the chalk to someone else. Un pedazo de tiza me salvó mi vida. Let us speak. Ahora.
We hear a school bell ring 3 times. End of play.